Guys and girls, you're gonna take a holiday in December or January, and there's a big risk there. Agents that are in regional areas and out of metro areas are licking their lips. We're going to talk about buying property when you're on holiday. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Yes. This happens, Billy. This happens. You're on holidays. You're feeling good. You're relaxed. You're looking in an area and you're looking around, going, "Man, I like this area. Wow, look at the prices. Wow, it's cheaper than where I'm from."
Yeah. Do you find clients ever come back in tears?
Nope, because the pain doesn't set in for years.
Yeah, right. So, is this is a common sort of conversation for December, January? People going away, people excited about their holidays,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, people are looking at their time away and they're thinking, wouldn't it be great to have like a holiday home?
This is such a cool area. I love this beach. I love this little town that I'm in. Um, Look, I've felt it a little bit. I went away to the Southern Highlands on the weekend for a wedding and stayed a couple of nights, and I'm like, ooh, I could get used to this.
Yeah,
Beware.
buyer beware. Yeah, so we're going to talk this morning about some of the risks,
Yep.
the hidden risks of buying a holiday home whilst at your holiday destination. And I would reckon actually more people would do this, as you said, regionally or semi close to home without talking, jumping on a plane. That's actually what I reckon is more common.
Look, it's the same concept whether you're jumping on a plane or not. People sell themselves like excuses. The kids will use it when we're older, and we'll come here all the time. But make no mistake, it can be very good for people, but it can be a ball and chain for people. Tied in with birthdays and weddings and kids' sport and stuff. You're like, oh, I've got to go there. Oh, I've got to go there. It's a bit like looking at a boat in your front yard, where you buy the boat like, how good is that? I've got the boat in the front yard. But over the years, it's like, man, I've got to take that boat out. Man, I've got to take that boat out. Holiday properties, if you buy them, um, I've seen them work brilliantly for families, and I'm talking brilliantly. But on most part, I see them being a ball and chain that are a chunk and a stack of cash that just gets, through maintenance and lack of capital growth, just chews up your dollars.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the other things as well. Overpaying, you're in that holiday feel good mood. Everything's fairly relaxed. I think if you're walking in and doing things sight unseen somewhat with lack of research, there's a risk there.
Oh, look, let's face it. If you're a real estate, if you have you looked at real estate or gone to an open house or rung a real estate agent in the area where you've taken a holiday? Me, absolutely. And then, I think if you're the recipient agent, you're like, woo, because there is that potential that person just goes, yeah, I like this. And then they go home, they get their Sydney broker to write the loan, and off they go.
Yeah, and you've said a couple of times really really good thing. You need to know like 10,000 things about your suburb or about the place you want to buy. Like that's it's just such a good like little one liner to take away. You can't
You've
go
got to
wrong.
know, and you do your core area, guys and girls. 10,000 things about it. Fact. Where to your favorite doctor in the area. For You know where the best Indian is in the area. You know a plumber. And if you don't know, though, the plumber, you can ring your best friend who will give you a plumber because you've got plenty of best friends in the area. You got some, often, you know, you got your tribe, your school buddies, you've got your buddies you went to school with, you got your buddies that were at school with your kids. You just got
Yeah.
10,000 things about the area. Do not underestimate that. You will not have that on your on your holiday property purchase.
Yeah, you're far removed, and then you're relying on basically, trades coming in at a reasonable cost, but there could be markups there. You just don't know what you're going to get. When something goes wrong, you're then making the travel. So it's not
Oh,
only the money, it's your time.
you've got local prices and you've got Sydney prices when you're when you're in your property. And I was talking with a mate about it on Sunday, and he was saying, yeah, look, I've been here for my family's been in this area for 40 years, where they're from Sydney, and I've been here. Had my farm for 5 years. I pay Sydney prices, and I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he goes, well, as soon as the locals know you're from Sydney, it gets jacked the price, whatever it is, the builder, the plumber, the whatever, it gets jacked. You're paying more.
Yeah, wow. What about suburbs that have, the seasonal buzz? There's like these suburbs, these little towns that have 3 or 4 months, it's a third of the year, where they just buzz, and that is like their bread making season for the year. But then there's
Yep.
another 2 month, 2/3 of the year where it's quiet.
The locals can't wait till you're gone,
It's so funny.
because it's just back to normal. A bit Byron Bay used to be like that. Byron Bay used to just pump through that peak season. The locals are just happy when you were gone. It all just went back to normal, but they made bank. So it was sort of
Yeah.
a bit bittersweet. But there's those things, and look, also the cost of people are going to be Airbnb. Well, you've just gone into business. That's going to take away hours a week from your business in Sydney. If you're Airbnb something in regional Australia and remotely, then you're paying someone even more to actually go and do the cleaning and the maintenance and stuff and run the Airbnb for you partially anyway. Look, guys, the bottom line from this, and I'll tell you the highs. I won't tell you because they're very, very obvious, right? So I'm not only telling you the negatives to bag it out, but you know what the positives are. But I'll tell you the lows. I get people coming to me with the ball and chain property that they purchased 5 or 10 years later, sometimes 15 years later. They rack it up and compared to if they spent that under their nose, bought the property next door to them where they live at home, buy an investment property down the road, whatever, and they go, you know what? I would have had not. I would have been rented every day of the week. Well, so people assume that the zero vacancy in Sydney happens in regional or other parts of Australia. No. So it's often they go, I've had no, if I bought here, would have had any vacancy. Maintenance would have been much easier.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have have to use it. I could have just booked anywhere to go for a holiday and not have to worry about going to the same place every time. The capital growth is the killer. So they look at what the house down the road or the unit up the road would have sold for, double. And then they look how much their other purchase out of the area that they didn't know, and it has gone. It's been the same value 10 years later, and they're like, I don't understand how that can happen. Well, they just assumed. They assumed it was always going to be rented, and they assumed it doubled in capital growth every 10 years because that's the area they've lived all their lives in Sydney, and then they think every other area is going to be like that.
I think if we can finish with one line here, just know your stuff before you go and make decisions like buying a property.
Yeah. Or
Done.
there will be a nugget on why they will buy. It'll be like, we're going to get an airport here and this is why it's going to do well. Or there's a new shopping centre down the road, or there's a train line coming in. So they hang their hat up on one key feature that the agent's ramming down their throat and thinking, oh, that's why this area is going to do well. But,
Yeah.
when you look at strong capital growth areas in Sydney, or most of Sydney, they've just got all of those things in sync working for them.
That's the moral of the story. Little short, sharp segment this morning.
Be careful buying on your holiday, guys and girls.
Doesn't this
Be
look good
careful.
though?
Yeah.
Holiday
Enjoy.
season.
You know what? Just go a different place every year if you want to. Like if you buy that. Although look, I've got a couple of mates. Whereas I've got to say, therapeutically or whatever you call it, they own farms. It's been the best move they've ever made, because it's actually worked. A couple of mates, but it puts pressure on because your kids are at home and you're on the farm, or there's those things to consider as well. But there's a few people that I know out of I would say there's the 5% I know that have absolutely crushed it, nailed it. The farms have done well, but it's also been very good for their families. But it's the fortunate few.
There you go.
See you, Billy Bob.
Have a great day, guys. See ya.
See you. Bye.